Captain Riley King never thought he would crash on a planet like this. The mission was supposed to be simple. Fly past planet 09, scan for life, and report back to base. He had done this kind of job 100 times. But this time, something went wrong. It started when his dropship flew too close to the planet. There was a sudden pull, like something grabbed the ship from space. The controls stopped working. The engines went dead. The ship fell fast, spinning through black clouds and red lightning. Riley tried to send a distress signal, but nothing went through. The last thing he saw before impact was the ground rushing up to meet him. He woke up to fire and smoke. His head hurt. Blood was dripping into his right eye. The crash site was a mess. The front of the ship had broken off and was burning. One wing was completely torn off. The smell of melted metal and burned fuel filled the air. Riley checked the back of the ship. No one else had made it. The rest of his small crew was gone. Riley grabbed his rifle, his backpack, and whatever supplies he could find. His armor was cracked but still working. His helmet was dented, but the air was safe to breathe. That was something at least. But the worst part? He had landed on 09, the planet soldiers called the Deathworld. It had earned that name for a reason. Everything here could kill you. The animals, the weather, even the plants. Nothing on this world was safe. If the creatures didn't get you, the ground would swallow you. If you didn't freeze at night, you'd burn during the day. Riley knew the stories. And now he was stuck here with no working ship and no contact with Earth. Still, he wasn't going to sit and wait to die. He started moving. The sky above him was deep red, full of angry clouds. A dark storm was building in the west. The ground under his boots was black and cracked like old lava. Strange plants grew everywhere, tall, sharp, and full of glowing veins. Some hissed as he walked past. Others snapped shut like jaws. Riley made his way toward the higher ground to get a better view. His scanner was barely working, but he hoped to find something, anything that could help. Maybe a cave for shelter. Maybe parts of another ship. Or maybe a signal. After walking for 2 hours, he reached the top of a rocky hill. That's when he saw a dot in the valley below, half buried in black soil, was a massive metal structure. It looked old, very old. It wasn't shaped like any human building Riley had ever seen. It was long and low, with towers on one side and strange round doors on the other. The metal looked melted in places, like it had taken a direct hit from something powerful. But what really caught his eye was a small blinking light, barely visible through the dust and vines. It blinked in 3 short pulses, then 3 long. Then 3 short again. An SOS signal. Riley blinked. It was a human signal. Someone had been here before. Someone had found this alien building, activated the signal, and maybe, just maybe, was still inside. His heart started to pound. This changed everything. If someone else had survived, there might be supplies, a working radio, or even a ship. If not, there might still be answers. Answers about this strange building. Answers about who or what had built it, and why it was sending a signal across the galaxy. Riley checked his rifle, tightened the straps on his backpack, and started down the hill. The rocks were slippery. The wind was picking up. It felt like the planet itself didn't want him getting closer. Halfway down, he heard a noise, a soft clicking sound, then another. Then something growled. Riley froze. To his left, something moved. Between the tall red grass, it was fast, low to the ground. Then another shape appeared on his right. It was darker, bigger. Riley raised his weapon, heart racing. Then came the scream. It was high-pitched and strange, like metal scraping on metal. It echoed off the rocks. The creature jumped out of the grass. It was nothing like anything Riley had ever seen. It had 6 long legs, black armor-like skin, and glowing yellow eyes. Its jaws opened sideways, full of thin, sharp teeth. It charged straight at him, claws scraping stone. Riley fired. The first shot hit the creature in the chest. It staggered but didn't stop. The second shot hit its leg. That slowed it down. The third shot hit it in the head, and it finally collapsed, sliding across the rocks. Riley didn't wait. He ran. Fast. Behind him, more of them screamed. He didn't look back. He ran toward the alien building, hoping it still worked. Hoping the door would open. Hoping whatever had sent the SOS wasn't something worse than the creatures chasing him. He reached the side of the building. The door was half open enough to slide through. He dove inside just as another creature lunged from behind. It slammed into the door, but it didn't follow him in. It just hissed and backed away slowly. Inside, everything was dark and quiet. The walls glowed with strange blue light. It felt cold and empty, like something ancient had been sleeping here for a very long time, and now it had been woken up. Riley looked down the hallway. At the far end, lights flickered on one by one. A strange hum began to echo through the building, and then, voice not human spoke through the walls. The Deathworlder fleet has been summoned. Captain Riley King stood in the dark hallway of the strange alien building. His heart pounded in his chest. Behind him, the deadly creatures still waited. Outside, growling softly. But in here, it wasn't much better. The walls were smooth metal, glowing faint blue. The lights flickered on and off like something broken, and that voice still echoed around him. A voice that wasn't human. A voice that had sighed, "The Deathworlder fleet has been summoned." He had no idea what that meant, but it didn't sound good. Riley moved carefully through the hallway. Every step echoed. The air felt old, dry, and cold. He kept his rifle ready, eyes scanning the shadows. The place looked like it had been empty for a long time, maybe hundreds of years. Some parts of the ceiling had fallen. Black vines with sharp thorns grew along the walls. Some glowed faint red, like they were alive. After a few minutes of walking, Riley found a large room. In the center was a broken computer screen. It was covered in dust and spiderwebs. Strange alien symbols flashed across it. Next to the screen was something that made him freeze. A skeleton. Human. The body was old, almost all bone now. It was sitting against the wall, still wearing parts of a spacesuit with the Earth symbol on the chest. One hand was resting on a nearby control panel. The other hand held a small black data chip. Riley knelt down slowly and took the chip. There was a switch on the side. He pressed it. The chip buzzed to life and played a message in a weak, broken voice. It was human. A man's voice. Tired. Afraid. If anyone finds this, please listen. I found the core. It's alive. The whole station is alive. I didn't mean to activate it. I thought it was just a signal beacon. I didn't know it would call them. I didn't know it would wake the fleet. They're not normal humans. They're from Deathworld's places worse than this. And they're coming. Not to save us, but to finish what started here. If you're hearing this, run. The message ended. The room went quiet. Riley stared at the skeleton. Whoever this man was, he must have been alone. Just like Riley, he had found this building, activated the signal, and never got out. But he had done something else. He had called something. Something powerful. Something dangerous. The Deathworlder fleet. Riley didn't understand it all, but he knew one thing. This place was not just a shelter. It was a trap. And now he had to decide what to do. Then he heard it. Faint clicking noise, then again. Louder. Closer. Something was moving in the walls. He aimed his rifle. The clicking turned into scraping, then into a strange, wet breathing sound. Suddenly, part of the floor slid open and a long, black clawed hand reached out. Riley jumped back as a creature pulled itself up. It was tall, thin, and fast. Its skin looked like wet armor. It had no eyes, only holes where eyes should be. Its mouth opened wide, and it made a soft, sharp screech like nails on glass. He fired 3 shots. 2 missed. The third hit the creature. In the chest, it didn't go down. It charged him, fast and angry. He grabbed a metal pipe from the ground and swung it hard. It hit the side of the thing's head. It let out a horrible cry and fell back into the hole. Riley ran. The lights above him blinked again. Doors slammed shut behind him. Something in the building had woken up Dot as he ran down the next hallway. Red warning lights started to flash. A loud siren echoed through the station. A new voice spoke, this time in a calm female tone. Fleet arrival, ETA 6 minutes. Evacuation not possible. Defense protocols active? Fleet arrival? That couldn't be good. He reached a large circular room with a glass dome at the top. Through the glass he saw the sky and something in orbit. Huge shapes moved through the clouds. Ships. But they didn't look like normal human ships. These were massive, shaped like bones or blades. One of them had glowing red engines that lit up the sky. Then a small object dropped from the ship, falling fast toward the surface. A capsule Dot smashed into the ground near the alien structure, shaking everything. The metal wall behind Riley cracked. Vines fell from the ceiling. The clicking sounds came back, louder this time. Dozens of them. Maybe more. Riley had to get out. He found a stairway and rushed up. At the top he reached a hatch. It led to the outside. He opened it and stepped out into the cold, dusty air. But the world had changed. The storm was gone. The sky was filled with burning trails as more capsules dropped from orbit. Some landed with fire. Others opened mid-air, releasing people or things that flew without wings. And then Riley saw them. The Deathworlders. They looked human at first, but they were taller, stronger, and moved like beasts. Some had armor that looked alive. Others carried strange weapons that glowed blue. They weren't part of Earth's army. These were something else. Something more. The first one landed near him. She was a woman with silver eyes and dark skin, wearing armor covered in battle scars. She looked at Riley without fear. "You sent the call?" she asked. Riley nodded slowly. "No, someone else did. He's dead now." She stared at him for a moment, then nodded. "Doesn't matter. You're the only one left. That makes you the witness." Riley didn't understand. Witness to what? She pointed at the sky. The purge. Suddenly the ground shook again. A loud roar came from deep below. Riley turned to see the earth splitting open. A massive shape was rising. Tall, covered in spikes and metal. It looked like a monster built for war. The woman's eyes glowed. "Too late to run. Stay close if you want to live." Asterisk. As Riley stepped back, the giant creature took its first step and the Deathworlder fleet opened fire from the sky. War had begun. Asterisk. Captain Riley King had never seen anything like this in his life. He stood on the edge of the alien building, breathing fast, heart pounding. The sky was full of fire. Ships shaped like spears flew above, releasing blasts of red and blue energy. The ground shook every few seconds as something huge moved closer from below. That something was now rising from the cracked earth. It was bigger than a building. It had 4 thick legs, 2 massive arms, and a head that looked like a skull made of black metal. Red light glowed in its chest like a heart made of fire. It didn't move fast, but it didn't need to. Each step crushed rocks and trees. It was built for one thing: destruction. The woman who had landed near, Riley, the one with silver eyes, watched the machine calmly. Her name, he had just learned, was Sarah. She wasn't a soldier from Earth. She was part of a secret group known as the Deathworlders. They came from planets like Earth, but even worse. Planets so harsh that only the toughest, smartest, and most dangerous humans could survive. Deathworlders weren't trained to fight. They were born to. Sarah spoke again, her voice quiet but full of power. That's a war walker. A weapon from the old wars. It's been sleeping underground for centuries. This station woke it up, or maybe it was never really sleeping. Riley pointed at the monster. Can we stop it? She looked at him, a small smile on her face. We don't try. We do. Suddenly, more Deathworlders landed nearby, falling from orbit in fire capsules. There were 5 of them. Each one was different. One wore armor that shifted colors, blending into the ground. Another carried a long weapon that looked like a lightning rod. One was huge, with arms as thick as trees. They nodded at Sarah, then looked at Riley. He's with me, Sarah said. He made the call. They didn't ask questions. They simply accepted him. Riley couldn't believe what he was seeing. These people weren't part of any army he knew. But they moved together like they'd fought 100 wars. No shouting. No panic. Just quiet looks and fast action. Sarah handed Riley a small device. It wrapped around his wrist like a bracelet and lit up. Emergency link, she said. It'll keep you alive. Maybe. Before Riley could ask what that meant, the war walker screamed. The sound was deep and terrible, like metal breaking inside a mountain. Then it fired its first blast. A beam of red light shot from its chest and hit the nearby hill. The hill exploded. Fire and dust filled the air. Pieces of rock the size of cars flew in every direction. The Deathworlders moved. Sarah dashed forward, faster than Riley thought possible. She jumped from one rock to another, then threw a disc into the air. The disc hovered and fired a beam that hit the war walker's shoulder. It sparked, but the machine barely noticed. The huge Deathworlder, a man named Bran, charged the machine with a massive gun. He shot 3 times. Each blast hit the walker's legs, making it stumble. Then Bran threw a small bomb under its foot. When the machine stepped down, the explosion made it fall slightly to one side, but it didn't stop. It raised one arm and fired again. Timed straight at the alien building Riley had just escaped. Riley screamed as the blast hit the wall behind him. The whole structure shook. Dust and metal rained down. He ran, diving off the ledge and rolling down the side of the hill. He hit the ground hard, his armor cracking again, but he was alive. Then something strange happened. The ground beneath him opened, not like an explosion, but like a door. A new room, hidden deep under the building, revealed itself. Blue light poured out. Inside he saw more machines, and something glowing in the center of the room. A floating cube, pulsing with white light. Sarah's voice came through his comm. Riley, what do you see? He told her. There was silence. Then she said, very slowly, that's the core, the one that sent the signal, the one that started all this. It's not just a beacon. It's a key. It controls the station, and the war walker. Riley's hands were shaking. You want me to touch it? I want you to stop it. Before more walkers wake up. He didn't know if it would kill him. But he didn't have a choice. The war walker was destroying everything. If more of them came up from the ground, not even the Deathworlders could win. He ran into the room. The cube floated silently, pulsing brighter as he got closer. He reached out and touched it. Everything stopped. The air went still. No sound, no fire, no movement. For 1 second, the whole world froze. Then the cube spoke, not in words, but in his mind. He saw images, war, death, planets burning, walkers marching. Across space, a human voice whispered, "We made them to fight." But they forgot who their enemies were. The cube flashed and Riley screamed. Energy shot from the cube into his body. His eyes glowed. The wrist device Sarah gave him sparked and fused into his skin. He fell to his knees, heart beating like. Thunder dot above him, the Warwalker stopped mid-dash strike that it turned its head slowly and looked at him. The Warwalker knelt, slowly, like a soldier obeying a command. Sarah's voice came back low and full of shock. "Riley, what did you do?" Riley stood, eyes glowing bright white. "I think I just became its master." Asterisk Captain Riley King stood in the glowing room beneath the alien building, his body shaking, eyes bright white. The strange cube called the core still floated before him, humming with power. It had connected with his mind, showing him the truth. It had changed him. He looked up through the hole in the ceiling dot outside, the giant Warwalker once wild. And Deadly was now kneeling before him like a beast waiting for orders. Around it, smoke filled the sky. Fire burned across the hills. Alien ships still flew above, but many had stopped attacking. They were confused, watching. The Deathworlders had seen what Riley had done. So had the machines. Sarah's voice came through the com again, calm but tense. "Riley, the core made a link with you. It only responds to someone who isn't fully Deathworlder or fully machine. You're something new now." Riley didn't feel different, but he knew something had changed. His thoughts were clearer. He felt the core inside his head like a second brain. He could sense the machines under the planet, more walkers, more weapons. All waiting for a command. He climbed out of the chamber and stood on top of the cracked building. The Warwalker still knelt before him. One of its arms was broken from the fight. Sparks flew from its shoulder, but it stayed still, like a loyal dog. In the distance, more machines began to rise, 3, then 5, then dozens. "They're waking up," Sarah said. "I know," Riley answered, "but they're not angry, not yet." Behind him, the other Deathworlders landed. Bran, the big one, looked at Riley with a strange mix of fear and respect. "So, you're the signal now." "I didn't ask for this," Riley said. "I just wanted to survive." Sarah walked forward, armor scratched and smoking. "Where?" "Not here to destroy the machines. Not anymore. We came to stop a war. But maybe you can end it instead." Riley turned to her. "End it how?" She pointed toward the sky. "There are others coming, not just us. The other galactic powers. The alien councils. They saw the signal too. They'll want to wipe this world clean. Burn it down so the machines don't spread." "But we've seen something they haven't," Riley nodded. "These machines, they were made by humans, a long time ago, before we lost the war. They were protectors, not killers. But no one was left to guide them. Until now," Sarah said suddenly. A loud siren echoed across the valley. The alien fleet was arriving. High above, giant ships appeared sleek and silver, shaped like stars. The sky turned dark as hundreds of them came out of warp. Alien voices shouted over comms. Translations came through. The messages were clear. Unknown machines must be destroyed. No human control detected. Fire at will. Warning: world termination in process. One of the ships fired a huge plasma blast. It struck far away but close enough to send a wave of wind and heat across the ground. Riley clenched his fists. He could feel the machine stirring. Warwalkers were ready to fight back. He could feel their rage, like wild animals waking up. If he gave the order, they would attack the alien ships. They would tear the skies apart. But if they did, everything would burn. Billions might die. He had to make a choice. He took a deep breath, then stepped forward. He touched the Warwalker's leg. The core inside him glowed brighter, and then he spoke. "This is Captain Riley, King of Earth. I control the core. Stand down. Do not fire." His voice echoed through every machine. The walkers froze. Even the Deathworlders looked stunned. Then he switched to the fleet's open channel. "To all ships in orbit, I have taken control of the core network. The machines will not attack unless you fire again. This is not a war. Not yet. But if you strike this world, we will respond." There was silence. Then a different voice came through, alien but calm. "You command them?" "Yes," Riley said, "but I'm not here to fight you. I want peace. I want to rebuild." More silence. Then the alien voice replied, "We are watching. Do not give us reason to doubt you." The ships pulled back, moving into high orbit. No more shots came. The fires on the ground began to fade. The battle was over. Riley collapsed. To his knees, tired, the glow fading from his eyes, Sarah caught him. Bran stood close, guarding him like a shield. "You did it," Sarah said. "I didn't win," Riley whispered. "I just bought us time." In the days that followed, the Deathworlders stayed behind to help. Riley learned to speak to the machines with his mind. He ordered the Warwalkers to return to their underground chambers. He told the core to shut down the signal. The world went quiet again, but now there was something new in the galaxy, a human who could control lost weapons from a forgotten age. Some would see him as a hero. Others would see him as a threat. The Alien Council sent a message. The Deathworlder fleet is to remain grounded. Riley King is to be watched closely. But Sarah just smiled. Let them watch. We were never their pets. We are the storm. And Riley, standing in the silence, looked at the sky. He knew it wasn't over. The galaxy had heard the call. And it had seen the power of Deathworlders. If war came again, they would be ready. Asterisk deep beneath the alien planet, in a hidden chamber no one had seen, a second core blinked on, quietly, patiently, and from the shadows, something else woke up. This one did not wait for orders.